good
Wow.
morning, good afternoon. Great to see you. We made it. It's Friday. It's the end of the week, and we've
It
got
was it was
Salty
a near
Texas here.
thing. It was a near thing. About Wednesday, I was like, I don't think we're gonna make it, and here we are.
We
Thank
can
God.
do it. We've got
Yeah,
this. It's been a good week. It's been a busy
yeah.
week.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, you're not kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But before we jump in, let me say hi to everybody. So we have got Ren Zero who says hi Purple, hi Salty, hi Chat, hello love, great to see you. We've got D-Bud Martin, good
Mm.
morning, and Brandon the anime guy, great to see you, gentlemen. Hello. Let's see, we've got Keely Chow, Roll Tide Keely. Sultan Al Fahim, good morning, great to see you. We've got our favourite polar bear, Snorter Poopers. Hello, good to see you. Let's see, we've got Sakadwolf 9, good morning, good to see you. Let's see who else we've got. I'll have to scroll up because you guys have been busy today.
I'm sorry. I just see Psycho Dwarf 9 is talking to Snortapoopus Q saying, suddenly I'm thinking barbecued Karen. I like the way you roll. You guys, call me. You got my digits. I'm down. Let's do it. Come on.
Let's see, we've got Roger Ryder. Good morning, great to see you. And I think that's everybody, but the Comic Relief Crusader was in first today, so great to see you.
See, even even Brandon the anime guy and Hail to you, great show yesterday, says barbecue Karen. That one is not hot.
I can see
Shaken,
you guys.
not
You guys
stirred.
are in
Oh
a
my
silly
God.
mood today, and I'm fine with that. It's like I'm all up for being silly. We've got a few kind of stories. A couple of them are quite serious. A couple of them are quite ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I think we've got a good balance today.
Yeah.
Kyle and Zaxx will be joining us very soon, so looking forward to seeing him. And good morning to X11 Bravo Comics. Great to see you as well.
Cheers. Hail, brother. Great to see you.
But what I thought I would kind of jump off with, because this one, it's kind of more, I'm going to put my hands up and say this one got my attention a little bit more than probably other people, mainly because it includes a game franchise that I absolutely love. So it's rekindled this tiny little spark of hope within me that we're going to get another game. But it was the news that Embracer has acquired a great big chunk of Square Enix. Basically, they have bought them out for a $300 million deal. This is crazy.
Well, you were talking to me before the show about how important this was to you, and you listed off several games that I knew about, but I hadn't actually played. And then I realized the reason why I hadn't played them was some of these games go back a good bit, and it just seems like they've been languishing and not being used as IPs. No one's made anything new for them. I mean, or if they have, it's just trash. What are you looking forward to most about this through this acquisition? What's Purple's wish list? Because I love when people get excited about things.
I am a little bit excited, I've got to admit. So yeah, they bought up pretty much all of Square Enix, and Square Enix owned Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix, and Square Enix Montreal as well. So these IPs that they now have under their umbrella includes Tomb Raider. We've got a new Tomb Raider game we know about. It's already been announced, but it's also franchises like Deus Ex, which in the past has been really popular. Thief, which I enjoyed, and for me, the big one, it is Legacy of Kain. If we can get a new Legacy of Kain game, or even a remake of Soul Reaver, I can die a very, very happy woman.
Would you like to see like a remaster of those games, or would you like to see a whole new storyline with some of those? You know, would you like what's your gut telling you the best thing to get is?
Honestly, for me, for things like the Tomb Raider franchise, I like to see it progress. I like to see, where they take the character. But for things like Thief and most of all Legacy of Kain, because it's been so long since we've had a game, I would actually prefer to see a remake of some of the older ones to kind of bring in a fresh audience, to remind people why these games were so great. If we could get something like the Final Fantasy remake that was done, that would be incredible for this franchise. It would just breathe new life back into it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I said some of those games I knew, but they go back a little bit. And I don't know how many system platforms they were. You know, some of those I remembered from the Xbox. What was it? The original Xbox, or not even the 360. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
these games go back quite a while. Yeah, so I had them on the original Xbox. I had them on the original PlayStation. So there's a lot of time with these games, and for some of them, it's been what 10, 15 years since we've had a new game. They, as you say, they've just been kind of languishing. They bought up the rights, but they never
yeah,
did anything with them, which
yeah.
was a kind of shame.
Yeah, but was it? Was it? You know, I mean, it's like maybe it's okay that they sat on the shelf now. Maybe somebody's gonna who loves them is going to take them and not start with a ideology. You know, that's what I'm hoping. You know, where they
Hmm.
don't change every character because I hear the passion that you have for these games, and I have the ones that I love. And it's like if you're going to remake them the way that they belong in the source material. But we'll see how that goes. You know?
Absolutely. And it looks
Yeah.
like the chat kind of agree with us as well. Even Brandon says when they bought what was left of Eidos and Crystal Dynamics, they had zero clue what to do with them. Glad they're sold now so we can get some real games again, especially
Uh,
Legacy of Kain.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Um, but I did find an article from Forbes as well, so it's not all kind of happy news. So this one, they also, it's kind of in limbo. So
Yeah.
it's what happens to Marvel's Avengers and Guardians in the Square Enix Embracer sale. Now, these games, I will put my hand up and say I didn't really have any interest in,
No.
but it is Marvel, and these are AAA rated games. They are anything with Marvel you think would be a huge draw for a lot of people. But let's see what they say. So the gaming industry was startled awake this morning with news that Square Enix has sold its Western studios, Eidos and Crystal Dynamics, to Embracer Group for $300 million.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that's been going on for quite a few years now. This group has been kind of behind the scenes buying up a lot of IPs and a lot of development companies. They've pretty much become one of the biggest kind of companies to own these game franchises. It seems like a lot of people don't really know about them or know much about them.
I was going to ask. I've never played Guardians of the Galaxy. I've never seen gameplay. How could you screw that game up? It seems like it would be a hell of a lot of fun to play all of those characters. How hard is it to not make a good video game based on Guardians of the Galaxy?
Hmm. And like I said, on paper, the game sounded great. The Marvel one, not so much. I think they tried to
Yeah.
bring in too many kind of characters too soon, from what
Hmm.
I've heard, and it wasn't. There was a lot of bugs. Let's say
Isn't that the one that had America Chavez and Ms. Marvel and all the other
yes,
things? That's that God. Yeah. Well, thank God.
yep.
Thank God they
That
got the line skip and we didn't get legacy characters. Thank God we got the new wave Marvel comic book characters. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
exactly. And I don't mind them bringing in great the new characters. That's fine, but you've, as you say, you've got to have the original characters. You've got to do
Yeah.
them great.
Yeah.
Just before I pull up, we've got a couple of super chats. Let me say good morning and great to see Fat Steven Seagal. Hello, sweetheart. Guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to Steven Seagal because he works incredibly hard. Fantastic channel, so great to see you. Good morning. And he says, have a great show. Goodbye, chat. Take care. Have a great one as well. We have got a new member who has joined. It is X11 Bravo Comics. Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you
That's
so
awesome.
much. And he is a new berserker. So thank you, sweetheart. We've got a new berserker in our midst. Great to see you. Thank you. Let's see. We have also got a super chat from Psychodorf. Good morning. He says, Boise, Idaho, Egyptian Theatre, Little Shop of Horrors tonight. Nice.
Cool.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
I like Boise. I know it's gone crazy with all the building because that was one of the places I was looking at. And but boy, pretty country over there. Absolutely beautiful country in Idaho. So hail to you all in Idaho.
That's amazing. A Little Shop of Horrors I would love to see on the stage. That and
Oh,
Rocky Horror Show, those are the two that I
yeah.
would love to see.
I have not seen Little Shop of Horrors in probably 25 years. And when it's done right, oh, it's so good. Like you said, just like Little Shop of Horrors or Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you, Psychodorf. Great to see you. We've also got Simon Flipper. Great to see you. Good morning. And Andy Masterson. Great to see you. Says good morning. Great to see you. Hello, guys. So let me just jump back to this Forbes article. So it says, however, the question remains about these two studios have been focused for the last two projects, which were both Marvel licensed games under Square Enix, Marvel Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. So specifically, what happens to Avengers? A live service game where fans are waiting around for substantive content, and what happens with potential future Marvel projects, like the theoretical Guardian sequel. Yeah, so these games are kind of in limbo. I can't imagine that the Marvel game, people like the Avengers, they're going to be too sad if there isn't a second game. But if I remember correctly, Guardians actually did really well. People seem to really like the take that they did. And even the character designs, they're not like the film. They're much more in keeping to the designs from the comics, which I thought was a really interesting take. I thought that worked really well.
Do you think that given what Disney has done with Marvel and now what's going on in the Marvel Phase 4, do you think that despite the lackluster performance or I would argue, rejection of what they're doing with the MCU, do you think they're just going to produce video games based on those characters that no one wanted, with the gender swaps like from Hawkeye and from She-Hulk, and suddenly we're going to get another generation of games that are based on another failed IP, like comic books to screen, now screen to video games? I hope not, but I can see that happening. I really can.
I hope not. I've got to admit, I think that they perhaps have learned their lesson in the past. These games are so expensive to make. I don't think that they can really afford for them to fail time and time again. I know DC have certainly kind of gone in that route with their remerger, so they're seriously looking at the games and what games have done well in the past, and really trying to focus on what people will enjoy, what people will actually put their money on, which is a novel way to go about it, I think.
Yeah, making money. What an idea. Hey, yeah, just don't hire Neil Cuckman. And I think maybe that's a good first step. I don't know. I've been wrong before, Purple. I don't know. Maybe that's where I'd start. Yeah.
And great to see everybody. I see some new names as well. Good morning. Psychodorf says Disney F's up anything it touches currently. Can't argue with that. Cannot argue with that. As we've seen multiple times.
Moon Knight. Sorry, it's something in my throat, guys. Yeah. Yeah.
And I probably won't touch on Moon Knight in this show because obviously we're going to review it later. But yeah, that was a hell of a thing.
Was it special? Was it special? Was
it was
extra special? Yeah,
special in quotation. Yeah, special. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Nice work. Good job, Disney.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. So as I say, we already know that there's going to be a new Tomb Raider game. It's using the Unreal 5 engine, which should be great. But if they can bring back some of these old IPs, I think it will really kind of get people excited again. I can't remember the last time that I was really excited for a game that was coming out. I think it was probably the remake of Diablo, but before that I was like, there really isn't anything that's really got me kind of, I have to buy this game. And back when the PS2 and the Xbox was around, I had a list of games that I wanted, but I had to be very picky because I obviously couldn't afford to buy them all.
The original Call of Duty, I just remember loving that so much. And then for me, honestly, I would say probably the modern console that it was Fallout 4, because I loved Fallout 3 and I don't want to start a war, but I really loved Fallout 3, and we got Fallout 4 and it was like, I like playing Fallout 3 more. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah.
I do as well. And we've still got the argument they keep re-releasing games like Skyrim, but we know there is eventually going to be another Elder Scrolls game coming, which should be huge. But there's kind of a lull at the moment, and I think gamers are really hungry for something new. So fingers crossed that this new merger or acquisition, I suppose would be the best way to put it, will be great and great for gamers.
Yeah. There's only so many times you can play Abby in Last of Us 2. We need something new, guys. We need more. We need more representation.
Simulator.
We need the Abby Joel golfing simulator, and we can work in like that character Dorf, and maybe get Jack Nicholson in there. Some actual good golfing lessons. So when you destroy your IP with a golf wielding pronoun queen in the post-apocalypse, you make sure to get those. At least hit par.
It's like a mini game within a game, you mean?
Yeah. Joel mini golf,
I remember that.
Yeah. Nice work, naughty dog.
Cycle Dwarf says, Salty Texas, I spent more time in Fallout 4, sorry.
Okay, I don't want to derail your show, but so did I, and that's part of the problem. Is I sat down one time, and 4 hours later, all I've done is build sheds. Like, I haven't gone anywhere. All I've done is obsessively compulsed over how to do my landscaping in my post-apocalyptic house and stuff. And I'm like,
because those are the important things, when you're in a post-apocalyptic environment.
I'm like, this. It's interesting. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but why did I get sucked into interior design in like a bombed out post-nuclear apocalypse house? I mean, now is that a me problem? Or is that a game problem? I don't know. You guys in chat, tell me. Maybe this is all me, but it was just like, when am I going to go fight something? And it's like, I don't want to leave. I just want to stay here and keep working on my shrubbery. It was
sounds
weird.
Like you got sucked into a kind of Sims version.
Yeah. It's like, and then I got the robot asking me if we're gonna go do something. I'm like, nah, Jeeves, we're good. I'm just gonna hang out here and do nothing in Fallout 4.
Good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. That's funny.
Maybe that's a Corey problem. I don't know.
No, I did the exact same thing on Skyrim. So I think that's kind of what we do. And Psychodros says, "Oh, rocket launcher versus ghouls."
Oh yeah, making those cool things. Although I don't know why you need a double nuclear warhead for launcher. I don't know. I forget. That's a Corey problem, not a you problem. But
one of the things that we were going to talk about on Tuesday, I never got around to. I think you've got a article to pull up as well.
I do. And yeah, I would not trade what happened this past week for anything. For those of you who have not seen it, we have some truly amazing footage of me totally pranking Max live. And all of those responses were entirely true. Oh, I hate you. Look at all this pop-up stuff we're getting here.
Yes, ad blockers are definitely very useful when we pull these things up. And just quickly, X11 Bravo says, what do you think, guys? Is Purple a camper or is she a sweaty? I do not camp because I don't have the patience to. I would much rather run and gun. So. Yeah.
If you sit still too long, they can zero one on you. You got to shoot and scoot, brother. I'm into the apocalypse. Cardio is essential. So yeah.
Let me pull this up. So this is one of the articles that, and we have like a very long list on Tuesday that we didn't get to. So I thought let's cover it today instead.
Yeah. So, I mean, I found this interesting because the Hunger Games, I actually read the books, and I know they're young adult fiction, but you'd be surprised how many you can find some rare gems in young adult fiction as far as good books. And now not a lot of them have been successfully adapted, I would say, in the last 20 years to the big screen. But I did like the first Hunger Games movie. I did. After that, it kind of went downhill. I thought they did a good job of representing what Susan Collins' story was. And then they just proceeded to do what every franchise does, which is like, how much money can we squeeze out of this and drag this damn thing out for as long as we can? And yes, Peter Jackson, I'm looking at you in The Hobbit, no disrespect, but here we are again in Purple. Here we are with another prequel to a franchise that wrapped up.
Yes, is this a thing now when we've got franchises that they've been finished for a few years and think, you know what this needs, you know what people are crying out for, a prequel with these characters.
And it's not who I think we'd want to see. You know who I'd want to see is I'd want to see something where you have an emotional connection to the ancestors of the main characters that were our protagonists. That's what I would like to see, and how those families changed over time. But of course, in this, we're going to have a sympathetic villain. We're going to learn the backstory of the evil President Snow, who was a terrible person in every way. And we couldn't wait to die. And we watched him torture and murder generations of children. But
I'm sure he's just misunderstood. I'm sure, if something terrible happened in his childhood that made him the way he is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is based upon the book. Susan Collins did release this book. Now, it did come out to mixed reviews. I would say it's better than mixed reviews, but not everybody liked it, and not everybody liked the take that they had. But there's really no other word on casting. We know it's going to come out next November of next year. And it takes place decades before we ever meet Katniss is even born, and centers on, again, a young President Snow, who at that time is a young, just policy wonk, a weeb within the government who falls in love with it, and just it's every damn thing you ever expect. And based upon the book, spoiler alert, he actually justifies why he murders everybody and why he becomes what he does. I don't want to see that. I'd rather have what I'm a big fan of is the individual standing up to a corrupt system that has too much control over them. But it's not my show, so I'll stop talking about that.
Well, I've got to admit, I watched a couple of the films, but I never read the books. Would you say the books were worth reading?
They are.
Yes.
I think they are, especially the middle and last novels, because what they did cinematically with the last two movies, it should have been one movie, but you could tell they were trying to drag it out. But you get a lot more sense of how
they do that a lot with final books, though, to be fair.
Well, how evil and the horrifying things they did to people who were dissenters against the capital city, which I think is important, which explains why so many people were willing to sacrifice themselves to bring down a corrupt system.
Yeah, from what I could tell from the books, they obviously they were very popular, hence why we got the films. But for whatever reason, I just never kind of picked them up. I think I thought maybe I was a little bit too old for them, or they just wasn't something that kind of grabbed my attention. But I know they were very popular. And,
for me, it was too many people told me you got to read the books. They're much better than movies. And so I did, and I don't regret it. But it's funny. Ian Soforth, who's a member of my channel, says that pretty much all the characters in the Hunger Games were pretty detestable. It's true. I liked Hamus. He was a pleasant drunk who was sarcastic. What's not to like about that?
Absolutely. And good morning, Cup Malik, great to see you. Says, why must they try to sympathize with the villains? Weird trends for me, in my opinion. Absolutely. And this is something we've seen kind of more and more in the past few years. We can't simply have a villain be a villain and people kind of, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. You kind of root for them, even though you shouldn't. But yeah, this trope of all of them having tragic backstories, or really going into depth and detail about why they become the person that they are. Why can't somebody just be a villain?
Well, I mean, like take Cruella. I mean, that was one of the most terrifying, arguably borderline, almost too terrifying villains for children because of what she does to puppies and the fact she wants to delete 101 Dalmatians to make a coat out of them. Now, I don't know why you would want to rationalize a world where that's okay. I mean, and not only that, Cruella did not, that remake with whatever her name is, random blonde actress who's not talented, came out last year. Now they're making a sequel to it. And now it didn't matter. It didn't do very well at the box office. But they're still doing it again. So again, why are they doing this? Why? I don't get it.
Yes, and Renzero brings up a good point. It says that Thanos was a sympathetic villain, but done well, to be honest, absolutely. But this was a character that was done, I think, well across the board. He had a great introduction, and they slowly built him up. He wasn't overly used in the films. I think if you want to look at, what is the absolute best way to bring a character in and really have this sense of dread about a supervillain that can wipe out the universe, Thanos is your kind of go-to template.
Yeah, Cornelius Snow is just an evil, poisoning bastard who we don't care about and needs to be shown for what it is he's a power-hungry person from a class of elites that appointed themselves, and maybe we shouldn't make that something we identify with or
Yeah,
allow? I don't
yeah,
know.
that shouldn't be something that that we really should be condoning.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't know, but I'm kind of deplorable, if you know what I mean. So there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me say good morning and thank you to Magitex Mags. Hello, sweetheart. She says, Happy Friday, Purple and Salty Texas Sea, working and lurking. I hope you're having a good one, love. Mags, if you are not following her on Twitter, please do. I'm absolutely loving her take on the Depp her trial at the moment. She has some fantastic takes, so thank you for that. Incredibly entertaining. Which is actually a great segue because that's going to be our next topic. But thank you, sweetheart. Great to see you. And just quickly, the Comic Relief Crusaders as a prequel was never needed, it sounds like. I would agree. We, as you say, we have sequels that we don't need, and now we're getting prequels that we don't need.
Do you think, because you were talking about Thanos, do you think Marvel is in phase, if they live to go to phase 5, do you think Marvel phase 5 is going to be about, they're going to have a Thanos prequel movie where it's okay to kill half the population of the entire universe? It's not a crazy question. That's you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's the
do you think
problem.
that's
Yeah.
where they're going to go? And it'll be all men's fault and democracy caused this, and I should stop talking. But that sounds about right to me.
I hope not, but given the way that Disney seems to be, quite happy to throw their IPs away and just do very silly things at the moment, would we be surprised? Brandon says Emma Stone got a second movie supposedly because of the quick pull to Disney Plus to keep her quiet.
That's her name.
Bad duck, Disney. Bad. Yes. Yes. Duck Disney, indeed.
There's such a long list of movies that have come out in the last, and we were talking about this in the green room, and I was joking about it. We should make a list of all the movies that have come out that we haven't seen, and that would be in genre of things that we love. And for me, that list is astonishingly and heartbreakingly long, and I know it's Disney, but Disney controls Star Wars, Disney controls Marvel, Disney controls a whole hell of a lot of things, and they're missing out on a lot of money from a lot of people, and they don't seem to care. I don't get it. I really don't.
No, and the chat are agreeing, as the show says. I mean, even the Star Wars prequels weren't needed. The one thing I will say about the Star Wars prequels, I found a much bigger appreciation for them once we had the Disney sequels.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, they could have done one prequel movie, and that would have been Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that's, to me, all they needed. You could have had that scroll in the beginning of the movie, talk about the other stuff, and then just dump us in. But I was so excited when we got the Phantom Menace come out. I bought the hardcover book. I was there the opening night. I had the T-shirt. I had everything like everybody else.
And then I watched the movie. It was a cultural phenomenon. People were so excited to have more Star Wars in their lives, and I really miss that.
I do too.
Just quickly, hello to Phonebox Chicken. It's been a while. Hello, sweetheart.
Awesome
it says, name. I love that name. If it wasn't from a book, no doubt Hannibal Lecter and Buffalo Bill would have tragic backstory films trying to justify what they become.
They were, you know what? They were failed restaurateurs, and they're taking it out in the world, and it's our fault. We didn't want to eat their fried chicken. Give me a break. Yeah, you're probably right. That's the problem. Seriously.
Oh my God, you guys are crazy. We've got a question from Couple Malik who says, what do you guys think about the Halo series? Not well versed in the story from the game or other media, but I'm liking the story so far. For me, I watched the first episode. I didn't like it, I've got to admit. As soon as the helmet came off, I was like, no, this isn't for me. I know a lot of people have kind of stuck with it, and they've kind of battled through, and I think people are finding like little nuggets of things that they're liking. But I think it depends on how big a Halo fan you are, and have you just played the games or have you read the books? Do you know the lore? I think, but that's pretty much the same with a lot of things, I would imagine. But I'm really glad you're liking it. I know some people definitely are still.
Yeah, I loved playing the video games. I lost a lot of my life back in the early aughts playing those games, and we used to have people come over to the house and drink and play those games. And I haven't watched the series. I do have a Master Chief. I'm getting used to where the camera. It's over the shoulder. It's over. It's over
It's in
the
that
other shoulder.
direction.
I'm not pointing over. When you reverse your see, I can't do it. Like this camera looks like a trick camera. I have a Master Chief behind me over there. I love the character, and I never needed him to take his helmet off. I just needed him to be a you know, covenant killing badass who said witty things, and that's it. I never needed to see his ass, and I didn't need to see his face. You know, so,
That's exactly what Ian Seforth said. If only the helmet was the only thing that came off. Indeed.
no,
Yeah, didn't see that one coming, but an
no.
interesting take. I will give them that. But yeah, I dipped out after the first episode, so I can't really give an opinion either way. There were like first, I would say 15 minutes I thought were great. You know, the initial attack, I got really excited. I thought, you know, this is pretty cool. But as the episode went on, I was like, I'm not feeling this, and I'm not going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if the bait and switch with a lot of these franchises, you know, like for ones that I follow, and I won't say it because everybody will tease me. You know, it's fantasy, but they kind of tried to stick to the story for 3 episodes. I mean, if you're very generous and, you know, blind and drunk, you could go, well, that was close. But then in episode 4, in the middle of an 8-episode season, it just shot off in a completely other direction. And Halo, in some of the ones that have come out recently, it seems like you get maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And then that's it. It just completely divulges from what you expect it is, which is a shame. And I don't mean to too crap on it for anybody who likes it at all. I'm glad that you have something you like. You know, I want something like that. And but for me, it's not Halo. So,
I've had the same criticisms leveled at me for liking Moon Knight, and I will admit that it's not a perfect show, but there was just enough there to keep me entertained and to keep me coming back for the 6 episodes. But good morning to MB Geek. Good to see you. He says, heading to Doctor Strange 2 in about 30 minutes.
Ooh.
Well, that's one of the things that you were mentioned about the Star Wars, and, you know, everybody was so excited. There were queues around the block. I haven't seen that with this new Doctor Strange. All the photos that people have taken from inside cinemas, they seem to be the only ones there.
I was going to go see it yesterday because my first showing would have been at 4:00 Central Time. And I looked to buy tickets, and 90% of the theater was available. Now, obviously, that's a Thursday matinee, and you know the real test is what will the buys look like tonight, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
I still may go see it now, just because I think what's baffling to me, Purple, is people either hate this so much and it's just a laughable joke, or people are like, "This is so much better than I expected," and
It's
that is
polarizing.
yeah. And I'm not sure what to do with this. Now, I think I'm going to walk out probably not liking it, but at the same point, maybe I should see where I fall in there. You know? I don't know.
Yes, I would like to see it. I wasn't going to kind of rush out and go see it, so I probably won't see it this weekend. I'm going to wait to see what other people think about it, just to kind of get, feel the room. But of all the Phase 4 films that were coming out, this was the one that I was most curious about, because I did enjoy the first Doctor Strange. But the last trailer really kind of put me off, I've got to admit.
What's crazy, and we didn't get, again, this is a bunch of articles from the Tuesday show we didn't get to, was just how much of the movie they reshot. It would, and estimates were that it was around 90% of the movie, and that it just finished filming like in early April. And I made this joke, but if they had to reshoot 90% of the movie and people are having this adverse of a reaction to it, what the hell was it before that they needed to replace? Like, what was going on here? Was it just like sock puppets, or was it like nothing but girl power ideology with pronouns? I mean, like,
and this is Sam Raimi.
That's what I mean.
I say, what the heck is going on?
And now Benedict Cumberbatch says he's going to take a break from acting. What the hell happened on that movie? I don't know. I got to see what it is. I really do. Yeah.
Just quickly, we've got a membership milestone that I missed, so apologies to Fat Steven Seagal. He has been with us for 7 months as a berserker. He says, I have gas, internet gas.
Ooh, boy. Well, get a can of that internet gas raid or air freshener, otherwise known as source material, and it'll clear that right up. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fat Stephen. Always great to see you. Next thing that we're going to roll into, because I think we're going to save the big talking about the House of the Dragon until the end. Hopefully Zaxx will join us, but I thought we would talk just a little bit about the Depp Heard trial that's been ongoing. Are you watching this? Is this something that you're interested in, or have you kind of really checked out and you don't care about them at all?
You know what I will do is usually right later in the evening. I will scroll through other content creators' stuff, or if there's a clip, and so much of it is like it's pretty much what I thought it was going to be, which is a shit show, no pun intended. And what has been shocking though is the staggering lack of trying on the part of Amber Heard. Now, either that or, in my opinion, it's a hell of a lot of her talents have been vastly overstated when it comes to being a thespian. Okay. And to get on screen like that, and it's like, I literally, my 5-year-old niece, after she breaks something or steals a cookie, and her lies and stories are much more compelling and believable than Ms. Heard's testimony, if I can just say that. This is surreal. It's a surreal, weird world. And to me, it's like it's like proof is just Hollywood is not our friend, and we should not take any lessons in morality from Hollywood, like at all.
Oh God, no. And from what I can tell, I will put my hands up and say I don't particularly feel strongly for either of them. I dislike Heard more than I dislike Depp. I think Depp, he's not squeaky clean. He's not an angel by any standards, but I don't believe the accusations that have been leveled against him, at least from what we've seen, from the evidence that has been put forward, and now from the testimonies from various witnesses, which some of them they've gone from the very serious to the absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when these things first came out a couple of years ago, and they were talking to his ex-wives and girlfriends. And I know with Winona Ryder, because that was a girl I had a crush on when I was in my 20s. Come on, everybody did. And her career hasn't exactly gone anywhere since the 90s. She would have a lot of potential incentive to trash Mr. Depp, and she didn't, And the same thing with his wife. They were married for, I believe, and she's French, was a model for 20 years, had at least one child.
Yes.
Ex-wives don't want to say nice things about their husbands, and she never said a bad word about them. So
that's it. Yes. And on the flip side, let me, before I continue, let me welcome to the stream Zaxx. Great to see you. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you.
Good morning. We are just picking apart the current situation with the ongoing trial, and I'll get your take on it in just a moment. But you bring up a really good point. We were talking about past abuse that has been levelled at the both of them, and whilst Johnny has not, but Amber certainly has, and she has been arrested for it with previous partners, which they are desperate to keep out of this trial.
Oh yeah, her girlfriend that she was with, or was it her ex-wife? I can't keep track of all this stuff, and nobody's judging. It's just fascinating. Again, that is a relationship type that has the highest domestic violence rate between it. It is just interesting that she went to jail for whatever happened in the relationship. So, yeah.
Yes. What's your take on this, Zaxx? Have you been kind of keeping an eye on it, or you just completely checked out? You don't want to consider these two because they're not worth thinking about.
A little bit. I think that what I heard originally was with Johnny Depp and his prior relationships, especially his marriages. They came out supporting him in the sense that he's never been violent with them, abusive with them, and so. When you hear that, you think that you're probably not likely to become more violent in your 50s. So
exactly.
Yes.
I think that he's physically, he may be a bit of a, maybe he's selfish. Maybe he's not the best husband in the world or partner in the world, but he doesn't seem to be an abuser. And it's odd that would start late in life. So that's what I start from. And she has been. So, I mean, yeah, it's a thing where I would come out on Johnny's side based on that, but I haven't been following it like everyone else has been, where it's kind of everywhere all the time. But that's my opinion on it.
Yes, I've been, as you say, trying to kind of keep on top of it, just out of morbid curiosity, I think, at this point. But we've got, she is trying to paint him as this much older guy who is has groomed her, but she's the one who has had multiple relationships with people much older than her. I think Johnny's 58. I think the girlfriend that she had was in her mid-40s. James Franco is in his 40s. Elon Musk, I think, is 50, if I remember correctly. So there is a pattern of behavior going on here, and I don't think it's from him.
Yeah. And also, I mean, she follows the path of and I am not a psychologist. I cannot diagnose. I am not a medical professional. I'm a YouTuber with an opinion and direct experience. And that's all I'm going to say with this type of, in my perception, and Zaxx knows what I'm talking about, disorder. Yep. It is, look up the term somatic narcissist, female somatic narcissist. In my opinion, her actions entirely fit that. And that is something where you run and you keep running away from someone like that. Okay, just don't look back. Just,
Yes, I think somebody put that in the chat earlier, and I won't obviously repeat it, but yes, don't with crazy. Absolutely.
I'm not a psychologist, but I did take psychology and criminology as well. And you don't age into criminal offending. No. And so that's not a thing that happens. It's the other way. People age out of that. They don't age into that. So that's it.
Just quickly, we've had a couple more super chats come in, so let me say a massive thank you to MB Geek. Let's Talk. He says, Purple Valkyrie, what is the best in life? To crush anti-ginger culture? To drive SJWs from their homes and hear the lamentations of the NPCs? Valhalla forever. Shield. Thank you, MB Geek. Well said.
They're doing it in Wheel of Time. I just need to put that in there. One of the most important characters. Another one bites the dust, guys. So
and you have to drink now. So
okay, I got coffee. Is that all right? Does that count? Okay.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that's going to come up on Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, as we get a little bit more information about that.
Oh, that's a whole other world, and I'm very fortunate to work with a lot of other people who love the books too, and we share information. But the ginger side is real. And it is just absolutely crazy to me, because there's nothing more beautiful than a woman who's a redhead with redhead freckles. But hey, just saying.
Agreed.
Yeah. We need more redheads about, absolutely. And they do seem to be popular, just not in Hollywood. But thank you, MV Geek. Thank you so much. We have got a $5 super chat from X11 Bravo Comics, and he says, "Shit the bed." Oh my god.
It's like haiku. It's like a haiku. It's beautiful.
Art.
And we've also got one from Psychodwarf9. Thank you, love. He says, Heard is a poster child for impulse control problems.
That's an understatement. I agree entirely.
And her acting in this trial has been some of the worst acting I've ever seen her do, and she's not a great actress.
That's what we said as well, and Comic Release Crusader, that just cracked me up. The only thing her Amber would need is a shock collar.
Hey, you don't want to get her that turned on, guys. You don't know what else is going to come out of her when that happens. So let's just say that. So
I'm guessing you guys saw the posing with the tissue up to her face and waiting for the camera to flash. You saw that. You saw the little glances over to the jewelry to see if her tears were having any effect.
Yep, I saw all of it. It was hilarious. All that stuff is bad, and you know what? She's probably a broken person, so there is something there to that. But oh my god, it's just it's hard to get behind her. Well, yeah, I'll leave that one there. It's the morning, so
just leave that one hanging.
Yeah.
I mean, I always, as a woman, and I recognize you only have your experience, but as a woman, if you were a juror on a stand like this, Purple, and you saw what was happening. I mean, and I'm going to have you speak for all women, but would that really just kind of invalidate all the other crazy stuff that she said by lying by that because of what she's doing, or what? Because to me, it's horrifying.
Really. I would say so, and from a lot of kind of ladies that I've seen and talking about it on Twitter, it seems that she has a uphill battle trying to get people on her side, especially now that she's on the stand. She is very cold. She's coming across as incredibly manipulative, whereas when he was on the stand, he was a lot warmer. He was quite funny, you know, he was open, but he looked like he was being genuine. Now, is that because he's a better actor? I don't know. You know, I don't know either of them, but it's like night and day to see the two of them talking now.
I just remember, again, a lot of his charity work, and unlike a lot of Hollywood celebrities, he didn't put it in the tabloids. He would just go and do things for kids in hospitals, you know, especially to do Jack Sparrow. And it wasn't like, oh, bring all the paparazzi. He would just go and sneak into a hospital just to do things with kids. And I don't think that someone who is Machiavellian or an incredibly abusive or explosive person would do things like that. They would be much more busy being abusive and explosive than doing nice things. But that's just my take on it, and that's why I say justice for Johnny. You know?
Absolutely, yes. And I think ultimately, whatever happens, there's not going to be a winner from this trial, you know, in quotations. And people are kind of forgetting this isn't the same as the trial that went on in the UK. This isn't an abuse accusation. This is him suing her for defamation, for basically ruining his career. So it's a completely different scenario. And, you know, he could have the best possible day in court and she could still win if the jury decides.
Yeah.
Just before we jump onto the final and the story that I've saved to the end, because I really wanted Zaxx's take on this, let me say good morning and a huge thank you to Cardinal Sin. Good to see you. He says, hail Purple Valkyrie, Salty Texas, C and Zaxx, and hail to the mods in the chat. And this is one of my favorite channels. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Absolutely love Cardinal Sin's channel as well. Somebody who is incredibly well versed, especially when it comes to aliens and the paranormal. So guys, if you are not subscribed to Cardinal Sin, please check him out. He has a fantastic channel.
Cardinal Sin hit us because as you guys know, Zaxx, Purple, and I do a show called The Paranormal. I dropped a new video this morning. Go check it out after the show. But Cardinal Sin, we'd love to have you on to talk about some of these things. So hail to you, brother.
Absolutely.
Oh, Cardinal Sin.
Good to see you. And Ian Seforth, good afternoon, rather. He says, Johnny at least admitted he was a bit of a bellend. Amber is trying to do a Mary Poppins act.
It's more like a snuff porn parody Mary Poppins than Mary Poppins. Let's be honest about it. Yeah. My opinion. Did I say something wrong? I don't know. I thought that was pretty accurate. I don't know. But,
between the use of the bell emoji and your comments, that perfect.
Sorry.
Chef's kiss to that one, guys. And I think we will let Mags have the final say on this. She says she keeps one-upping her own narrative to the point it's unbelievable. She went down to serve him coffee. After that, her feet were slashed up. Sure. LOL. Wow. Absolutely. Yes. And we're getting stories that she's kind of dredging up that weren't talked about in the previous trial. Now you think that if this abuse was so horrific that she suffered, then everything would have come out previously. But for some reason, this was not the case.
And maybe you would present photographic evidence or your electronic medical records indicating that these injuries took place. But again, I am not a litigator, nor am I a physician, and apparently I'm also not a biologist. So I don't even know what a woman is, so never mind. Yeah.
and Cardinal Sin says, thanks, hit me up, I'll be happy to come on. Awesome.
Cheers.
Cool.
Right on.
So guys, let me share this. So this one I saved till end because we had strong feelings about this yesterday when the trailer dropped. So Zaxx, I am going to hand it over to you to get your initial reaction. So we watched the trailer and feelings were felt, let's say.
Well, for me, like, I was a fan of the show. I've read the books and some of the other material they're building the show around now. And I just, like, the trailer was fun. I was kind of like into it until that line. You know that line? Yeah, where they'd rather let that realm burn than have a woman sit the Iron Throne, which is ridiculous. And it's for so many reasons it's wrong. And one of the reasons it's wrong is that it was this dispute is the princess versus the queen. That's how it's been in the short stories. It's not the princess versus men. It's two sides, both run controlled by females in factions, fighting for the throne, which is what Game of Thrones is about. And it's about depth, and it's about nuance as well. It's not, you don't like women can't.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Nuance. No. There's only ideology, and all men are stupid or evil, and all women are perfect. And the only reason they're not more stunning and brave, Zaxx, is because stupid evil men are in their way. Come on, get with it.
Now I will say,
down our throat. Is it not working on you? Come on, do we need to sit down and watch Marvel, Disney? Will that help? I mean,
if I watch Black Widow 3 times, will I be a better person?
No, but you might have an aneurysm. Yeah.
Like, okay, so for this specifically, the way they present it, it's just why would you put that in your trailer when
it's so
unless in this show and in the world people manipulate each other. So unless that's a scene of her being manipulated into thinking that, maybe that's the thing. But if that's a straightforward story point, that's not how that's not how it happens at all. And the Iron Throne hadn't been around for that long at this point. So it's not like we have thousands of years of women on the throne garbage. That didn't happen.
Yes. When this was first announced, I mean, obviously, I would imagine you guys up until, the latter seasons of Game of Thrones, you were really on board. It was something that you guys enjoyed. I know, I think we've all read the books. Whether or not we will ever get a conclusion, I think it's probably not going to happen. I think George R. R. Martin is doing it out of spite at this point.
I made this joke a couple of weeks ago, but I think Brandon Sanderson should finish the Game of Thrones series, and I think he will. I think he will, because I don't want anything bad to happen to George. I mean, he's allowed to live his life. He's in his 70s, but I do think at this point he's not going to finish him, and I do think the person they will give it to will be Brandon Sanderson. I'd put money on it, actually.
Yes. Do you? Is this something that you're going to watch? I mean, I watched the trailer. I've got to admit, I had mixed feelings about it. I think somebody brought it up in the chat as well. Why would you watch a prequel when you know how it's going to end? There were points in the trailer that I thought were great. It's great to see the dragon. I thought the costumes look great. Music is fantastic, which we've come to expect. Some of the characters didn't look particularly great. I've got to admit, Matt Smith, looking at you.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't know what he's doing in Game of Thrones, but that was one pale AF dude, and it's like, give him some eyebrows. Can we do something? A little blush, maybe? It was terrible. And that was your joke. I'm sorry, I stole it. Yeah.
And eat something. Eat something and go outside. That
It looked bad because they've obviously, they've gone for the very pale skin and white hair, but they also bleached out his eyebrows. So he's got no expression on his face. It's bizarre.
Surprise.
Well, you can't see his expressions, though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, every scene you just saw, it looked like it was a rubber Halloween mask of Matt Smith that wasn't finished being painted. And I don't know where they're going with this, because if, eyebrows convey a lot of emotions. They're a necessary thing in life. And, I don't know. He's either going to have to act his butt off, or he's going to be screwed. There's really no way to put it.
I like Matt Smith.
He's great. He's a good actor, but I don't know if is this spoiler or not.
Do it.
Do it. Okay. Do it. So, yeah. So Rhaenyra, who they're talking about in the trailer, who is the daughter who's being pushed aside, she was away at Dragonstone having a child at the time that her father died. So Viserys dies, and they took advantage of that to make her brother the king, because that was the queen's faction in charge at the time at King's Landing. That's what happened. It wasn't like women get to the back of the line. It was, she's not here, so we have the chance to put our faction in charge, and so we will do that. And 2 of her sons become kings. So it's not like this is like you have man bad, women to the back thing. This is the thing where it's factional control of Westeros, which is what the entire story has always been about.
Well, that's it. It's a chess game between all these different factions, all vying to take control, and that's I think what a lot of people fell in love with to begin with Game of Thrones, because there were all these machinations of these characters, and there weren't really any good characters. They were all out for themselves. They all wanted power and control, which I thought was fascinating. It worked incredibly well.
I never saw any of the HBO seasons of Game of Thrones. I've only read the books, and I would catch snippets and I would see nerdrotic reviews or other people's reviews and of certain things and not have a correlation to it other than the book. But I don't seem to remember the palette of Game of Thrones looking like what we're seeing in the prequels. And to go back to the trailer itself, and I was talking about this with Zaxx, like just in general, and the Game of Thrones would have literally been everyone's number one target for what to watch as far as fantasy goes because of what Amazon has done with the Rings of Power. But that one line, I think has done more damage to people's enthusiasm for this than anything at all. I think they really screwed the pooch on this.
I'll pick that up in a second. Let me just quickly say thank you to Cardinal Sin. He says, Purple, be in touch. I have a project you could help me with. That's a lot of fun. Absolutely. Anytime, just send me a DM. That would be fantastic. Mag says, Whammons are perfect everywhere and don't ever do anything wrong.
Well, Magatech Max falls in that category. Let's all be fair. Give her a sub, guys. Come on.
Cavaltano Caviman Shay, great to see you. Said, what would the appeal in the series be without Amelia Clark nude?
Obviously, a pale AF, no eyebrows nude Matt Smith. Come on, guys. This is 2022. Full frontal male nudity. Embrace it. Apparently.
This is an interesting point. As Depp says, I think George may be demotivated by the TV show. Do you think that because the final season got such a huge backlash from the fans, it was pretty much universally hated? Do you think that really kind of put him off from finishing the books, or do you think that that's just a convenience excuse? Because we've seen his works on multiple other projects since.
What do you think, Zaxx?
I think probably, yeah. I think it must have put him off a bit. He's avoided it like the plague since then. So I can't think of another reason why he would have done that. When prior to the show airing, he was taking forever to write books, but not this forever to write books. I think he is avoiding it because I think he doesn't know how to end it or how to end it any better than the show did. Which it'd be hard to end it worse than the show did. But if that's his ending that he really did have in mind, it took longer to get there, then maybe he's afraid of the backlash from that. But he's like, he's blogging about the New York Giants and New York Jets. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I think what happens is this: once George R.R. Martin climbs out of his swimming pool loaded with $100 bills that he's swimming around in from all of the money he's made, and then dries his eyes off with a bar of platinum for all of the fan abuse and rejection for what he's doing. He then rides the big train that he bought to his big mansion and then thinks about all of the other things that he's doing, like the Broadway musical of Game of Thrones, like the video game projects, like all of the other things out there. And then I think at some point he has a mild twinge and goes, F them. I got their money. I mean, that's my perspective on this. He's 70-something years old. He doesn't care.
I would go with that as well. Were he not so coming across as antagonistic towards fans? Because whether or not this is actually him behind the Twitter doing these tweets, he's kind of taking little jabs at people for people said, when are we going to get this last book, please can we finish this, and he's been a little bit salty about it.
Well, and you know what too about him is he's like, what he looks like, right? Obviously he's not the most active looking guy, and I think that this is a lot of work because he's a gardener style author is what he calls himself. So he lets things grow and then he brings them back together, and he's let everything in the books grow so far apart. It's going to be a lot of work to get them back together. And I think that he maybe just doesn't want to deal with it. Like, it's a lot of work to get them to the end now with him where he's left it because he's let it go that way.
Yeah, it would take a monumental effort, and I think perhaps we will definitely get an end eventually, but I would agree, I don't think it's going to come from the original author, which in a way is sad. I think that this is his magnum opus. To see him finish it would be amazing. But if somebody else comes in with, fantastic ideas and actually knows how to bring the threads together, I'd be all for that as well.
Yeah. But the only way that can happen is if they hit a bunch of diversity and representation checkboxes. What we don't want to enable is the meritocracy. We certainly don't want a man to write this, and maybe it should be somebody who has differing pronouns, because that's the most important thing now. It's not talent, it's representation. What a world.
As we've seen in several other productions, indeed.
Yeah.
But let me say a huge thank you once more to Cardinal Sin. He sends us a 1999 super chat. Thank you. He says they actually have people that can write for House of the Dragon. 58. David Benioff couldn't write his way out of a wet paper sack. He decided not to read screenwriting books and just bought strips that he liked.
It sounds like him. D&D.
Yeah, well, D&D kind of rushed through because they were after that Star Wars project, wasn't it, that they were supposedly lined up for?
Dan and Dave. I think they're running a Kentucky Fried Chicken now in Alabama. I'm glad things worked out for them. I think really that they're going to be happy now. They're going to be happy.
Yes, it's like, was it worth it? Was it worth ruining Game of Thrones? But yes, we'll see. I'm curious. I've got to admit, I didn't, obviously, the same as everybody else, enjoy where Game of Thrones went, but I thought the first 4 seasons were fantastic. Great TV, and it's some of the best fantasy that we've seen for a very long time. So if this is on par with what we've had with the beginning, I think that would be great. But I think a lot of people, especially really diehard fans, will be a little bit cautious going into this. But from the comments that I've seen, just kind of testing the water, people seem to be excited about this. They really do want new content.
Hey, would you guys say that the original Game of Thrones TV show and the books had strong female characters in it?
Oh yes, absolutely.
It was full of them, huh?
Yeah,
they weren't. They weren't strong enough, and the problem was there were no other genders represented. Come on.
Yeah.
What we really have to we much like with Tolkien, what we have to do is correct the errors of the white cis patriarchal past, and we have to make sure that everything that's going on now is in fantasy stories. I don't know why you have a problem with this, guys. Come on.
Okay. So if we pretend Arya is non-binary, then maybe we could say that everyone was represented, because spoilers, she kills the Night King. Sansa ends up Queen of the North. Cersei was queen before that, and Daenerys kills everyone. So these are all female characters who were strong.
Mm-hmm.
Hail the rabbits. Somebody likes KFC in the chat.
No shortage.
Rabbit Slug Ouch is great to see you. We've got Sil Abdul in the chat as well. Hello, guys. Good to see you. So we haven't got long to wait for this to come out. It premieres on August 21st. Obviously, it's HBO. So this is pretty much right around the corner. I think it's going to be one of those that it's really going to kind of light up YouTube. There's going to be a lot of people reviewing it and talking about it. So I'm cautiously optimistic, I think would be the best way to put it. We've been burned before, but hope springs eternal.
Do you think that it was a smart move launching before September 2nd, the anniversary of Tolkien's death, for the Rings of Power? Do you think that I was going to say, or would you want to do it the week after they drop the first Rings of Power, where everybody's essentially in the streets rioting and everything like that because
everything's on fire because Tolkien's been destroyed, dismantled? I think this is a much smarter move to get it out before Amazon's Lord of the Rings, before things really heat up, because I think we've talked about this multiple times before. This is, I think, the hill a lot of people are going to die on when it comes to the Rings of Power.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
Yeah.
Guys, before we wrap up and let people get on with the rest of their Friday, let me say, first of all, thank you for being fantastic co-host today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. What have you guys got coming up? Because I know you're both really busy at the moment.
Salty, you go.
All right, I'll go. Well, I just dropped I just dropped a new phenomenal video, of course, working with you, Purple, as well as Zaxx. That came out this morning. I'm going to be dropping another actually video about James Bond later today. I believe I'm going to be on Jared the Comic Guy's channel, and I'm probably butchering it, I think, tonight.
Cool.
I don't know. I'm really not good at keeping track of where the hell I'm supposed to be until about an Zaxx 5 minutes before it's supposed to happen. But I'm going to be doing that. I believe I'm actually going to be on Alasia, A Troubled Green channel with you guys on Sunday, I believe at 2 o'clock Central.
Is
and
it
then, of
this
course,
Sunday or next Sunday?
see, this is it's a Sunday.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
not
a Sunday.
I need a calendar guy. I need a producer.
You need a whiteboard.
Yeah, I'm unintentionally funny, but this is my life. So yeah, so we're gonna be doing that, and of course we always have the Tuesday show. We're also talking about doing some live woo-woo with talking about UFOs because there's so much to talk about. But yeah, and again, I'm lucky enough to work with both of these people, Zaxx, who's great, and of course Purple, who's absolutely amazing. So
thank you. What about you, Zaxx? I know you've got some fantastic videos that have just dropped.
Yeah, I dropped. I've been doing some Moon Knight videos, even though it's now no longer relevant. I'm still doing them anyway. So I did a reaction to episode 3 because I started to do one for episode 5, but it's a bit of a dark episode, so it's not as much fun to make fun of. I probably still will, but but 3 was ridiculous, so I went back and did that one instead. Released that last night. I think I'm on tonight with Jared, and then
yeah, that's it.
And then yeah, I believe it's tonight. And Tuesdays always, whenever Purple will put up with me, I'll be here.
Anytime. You guys have an open invitation. As do several other people. It's always great to get more people on and to kind of bounce ideas off. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
I did hit 500 subs this week, so I'm very excited about that. I know I'm going to do a celebration stream. I just don't know when or how that even works, but I'll get there.
It'll be at like 700 by the time it kind of rolls around.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
I can't wait for that. Zaxx, you have worked so hard, and congratulations again. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed, please check him out. It's Zaxx7 on YouTube. He makes great stuff. That's all I'm going to say.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Yep. Link is in the description, and big thank you to the mods as well who have been putting the links out. So thank you guys as always. We've got a big week coming up as well. So I've got a couple of videos that are about to be released. I don't think I'm doing anything over the weekend, but I'm probably mistaken. So if that's the case, I will update people on Twitter as always. But Monday is going to be the big show for the week. So we are celebrating not only 2 years of Rise and Shine, but I'm also going to add on the 2K as well. Because we've just passed that as a channel, so going to have a big kind of celebration. So hope to see as many people as there. Really just want to say thank you to you guys for being such a integral part of Rise and Shine. Because without co-host and without the chat, this channel would not be what it is. So thank you. Wednesday I probably won't have a daytime show, but we're gonna try to do a evening show, and then we'll be back as usual on Friday as well. So lots of stuff coming up next week, and obviously we'll be joining these guys on Tuesday as well. So looking forward to that. Guys,
congratulations, Purple.
Congratulations again. You so deserved it. So richly earned, so richly deserved. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. It's definitely it's a labor of love, so I am incredibly lucky to get to do this week after week. So thank you guys. A massive thank you to everybody in the chat. It's some fantastic comments as always. You guys were on fire. Thank you to everybody who sent super chats, to our new members. Warm welcome to you. Great to see everybody. We will be back very soon. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday. I know there's a lot of people streaming today and over the weekend, so guys, please make sure that you're subscribed to your favorite YouTubers, and make sure that the bell is wrong, because we're getting very late updates on YouTube at the moment. I don't know if it's just you, but I'm getting an update like half an hour into a show, and I'm missing bits. So make sure that you've got that bell rung. But have a fantastic rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see each other very soon. Take care.
Bye.